Welcome back, everyone, to Two and a Half Gays, the all-inclusive podcast for the modern-day millennial queen. I'm Quinlan.
I'm Dino.
And I'm JJ.
What have you all been up to? Dino?
Been sick? Well,
You got sick today. What have you been doing since we last recorded?
Since I last recorded,
He got ill.
I got ill.
Today.
I've been getting through my Netflix queue. I've been watching a bunch of documentaries, and I feel slightly smarter than I did a couple of days ago.
Netflix documentaries. Which Netflix documentaries?
I watched one about Bill Gates and how big his brain is. I watched one on the human mind and how fucking cool it is. I watched one on pirates. Pirates are the best, honestly.
This sounds like middle school.
Pirates?
Bill Gates, brain, pirates.
Yeah, this is Dino in year 7. I once did. In year 4, we had to choose an animal to do a presentation on. I was so Dino, I chose an amoeba.
What's an amoeba?
Jesus Christ.
It is a single cell
Oh my
organism.
God, that's
Okay?
what I thought it was.
I
didn't think it was
I had a
serious.
giant poster that came with it. I had a foam
Is that an animal?
model. No,
Then what? What?
it was a technicality.
Why do you always have to be?
So I had a
stupid?
foam amoeba statue that was amazing. I painted it and everything.
And you failed because it wasn't an animal.
No, I did so well.
Got an A+. It's Dino.
Just wait, I will find the amoeba poster, and you will be shitting yourself at how knowledgeable Wikipedia is about amoebas. They know so much about those tiny things.
Do you reckon this project then set the tone for the rest of your schooling experience?
Yeah, I once did.
Oh
I once did a
my gosh.
presentation on the Hubble telescope. I loved the Hubble telescope, and a couple of years ago when they announced that they weren't going to be using it anymore, I felt literal pangs of pain because it meant so much to me. I had a whole presentation on it. There's a poster somewhere printed out with information, again, from the world's encyclopedia, Wikipedia.
I wish I could hang shit on you, but I built the
Oh.
Mars Land rover for a school project in
Fuck
primary
yeah.
school.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it was kind of a big deal. My dad was obsessed with space, and then I was like, I'm obsessed with space.
That's cool.
Wait, how big is it?
Oh, not that big. I made it out of toilet rolls. Like,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then it was like, and I met with like a backdrop, so I could.
Oh, that's so cute. Quinlan,
You
what's your
fucking
nerdy
nerds.
subject?
I wasn't a nerd. I
Fucking
remember in year 8 we got to do like a project on whatever we wanted, like anything you wanted, ever. And me, being the straight masked man that I was in year 8, I did a project on Lady Gaga.
Amazing.
It was really horrible because everyone laughed at me. And then at the end we did like questionnaire, and everyone just asked, "Do you think she's really a man?"
Because this is when
Yeah, 2000 and
this is when people thought she was a hermaphrodite.
yeah.
And people didn't even know what a hermaphrodite was.
No.
But tell us, Quinlan, our mask. What have you been up to this week?
Well, life is a roller coaster. Just issues.
Let's JJ, let's hop on this roller coaster for a bit. Take us through the twists and turns.
Step into our Dr. Phil's
Roller coaster.
roller coaster without the moustache or the southern charm. Let us help you through this. What's your issue, Quinlan?
Just like boy stuff that you learn. I told myself, I'm like, I'm not waiting till 2020 to kick fuckboys out of my life. It's happening now.
Now, who needs 2020? It's just a year.
It's just a month away.
Yeah. A month.
shit.
Like 2 months.
I'm
A
not
month and a
counting
half.
this month. It's pretty much
The one that
over
wants
in
to do
my book.
Christmas posts, of course.
It's the most wonderful time of
Of
the
the
year.
year.
No, I don't know.
Alright, be the Grinch.
No, I went to like 2 Halloween parties, and I got so drunk at both that I literally don't remember things. But it was really cool. I dressed up as someone who got their heart taken out because of recent events. And then I went as someone who got attacked by a werewolf, and I had these 3 big slashes. It was the first time I did SFX makeup. So like layers upon layers of toilet paper and liquid latex and fake blood.
Was it difficult to take off?
No, I actually sweated off. Like I was on the dance floor and my thing was half hanging off, and I was like, oh shit. And I was so drunk that I got this poor girl to help me put it back on, but she like got masking tape and got a safety pin and pinned it to the top of my shirt, so it was tangling.
Oh.
For a second, I thought you were going to say
No,
she
not
pinned
into
it
my
to you,
skin.
and
She pinned it into my skin, and then I got gushes anyway
did
of
you
blood.
did you think
Yeah.
he was yeah, okay.
I wasn't that drunk that I didn't feel pain.
It can happen though.
It can happen. But what I have learned is alcohol doesn't fix things. So don't use it to... No, I didn't fucking do that.
And have you used alcohol in any way to change your mood, JJ, this week?
No, I'm sober. I'm a sober individual. I have been for a number of years,
Good on you.
as you both know.
So how was your week?
Over the past few days, I've come to the conclusion that I have terrible posture. Now, yes, I could go to a chiropractor who could help me fix this issue, but no, I went to YouTube instead. And what did I find, dear friends?
What?
Allegedly, supposedly, if you sleep on the floor, just on the floor with like a yoga mat for 14 days, your spine will be fixed.
I don't think that's how it
No,
works.
no. It is how it works. I'm going to do it. I'm going to prove you all wrong. In 2 weeks' time, I'm going to walk in here and you're going to be like, who is this giraffe of a human?
This sounds like a YouTube video. I slept on a yoga mat on the floor for 14 days.
That's
Watch my progression.
No, I did. I watched people on YouTube do
Oh
it,
my
and they were like,
God.
"Yeah, my posture is fixed."
Yeah,
they-
totally.
They seem like they had their chakras all in alignment, so you know that they're on the right path in life. Like they wouldn't lead me astray with their false, claims about sleeping on the floor and fixing their
I
posture.
wonder what the other videos were about.
Look, I didn't go through their channel. I wasn't interested in them as a human. I wanted to know
I
about.
eat a piece of celery a day for 2 weeks. Watch my journey.
They're all 9/11 truthers. We all know.
What? Oh, Jesus.
It's a conspiracy. So yeah, we're gonna hop onto the news.
This is State of the Gays, a weekly breakdown of everything important in pop culture and news that has happened that affects our community and maybe even not our community. Because we're a big community, we're inclusive, we're global. First item on the agenda, it was announced that Facebook and Instagram are going to be censoring the peach and eggplant emoji. In July, Facebook and Instagram quietly updated their community standards language, which includes both Instagram as well, which means that if you pair an eggplant and a peach emoji, it will be deemed too horny and qualifies as sexual solicitation. User's account flagged or removed. This mostly affects posts that you make. So if you are a thought, for example,
Or a fuckboy.
yeah, and you post an image of yourself with an eggplant and a peach together, then it will be deemed sexually explicit and then
God.
banned.
That seems ridiculous.
But if I'm messaging my mother because I need her to buy some aubergines from Coles and I can't be
Fancy.
bothered typing it out, the
that
emoji
won't be
still
effective.
exists.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
So what are our thoughts about this?
Seems silly.
That's okay. Us millennials will figure out a different combo. It'll take them a while
True, we
to
always do that.
update the community guidelines with.
What if you put something in between the emoji and
Oh,
the
like a
peach, or is it
plus
just
symbol.
together?
There, we've just figured it out.
Instead of a peach, it's now pumpkin. What else could you
Well,
use?
there's no pumpkin emoji. It's the literal Halloween pumpkin.
Yeah.
I mean, you could use any face emoji for that.
True.
Yeah, but you can also put like a flower and an aubergine as well.
True. Or a
so-
hot dog and a flower.
Or a taco and an aubergine. Like,
We can get around this.
In other terrible news, Miley Cyrus has denounced her female same-sex attraction, Quinlan.
Miley Cyrus, the pop singer Hannah Montana, or
formerly known as.
She was doing a live feed, like a live Instagram feed, is that what it's called? A live story, whatever, with Cody Simpson, her new Australian boyfriend. And she said, this is like quote for quote, "Don't give up, you don't have to be gay. I always thought I had to be gay because I thought all guys were evil, but it's not true." So, I don't know, that sounds like a troubling thing to me because she came out as pansexual a few years ago, and obviously the queer community accepted her and supported her, and she was like a part of us and blah blah blah. But for her to kind of make that statement, it's kind of what bisexual people have trouble with. I feel like no one takes their sexuality seriously because they just say, "Oh, it's a phase," or "Oh, you just want to have fun with the same gender. You don't actually want to experience emotions with them." Same thing happens with lesbians in media and in real life. So I think for her to say those words and have such a big audience who was also queer is just kind of like spitting in our face, basically. I'm sad because I'm a big Miley Cyrus fan and it sucked to hear that.
Disappointed, but not surprised.
She apologized, but like obviously she had to apologize. I don't know how sincere that apology
That's what I was
is.
about to mention. I don't know if she would be sincere in her
Yeah.
apology. If it's more like saving face than
Yeah.
actually being like, you know what, I do identify as this. I shouldn't have said that. It was dumb.
Yeah.
Everybody makes mistakes, but
Everybody has those days. I don't know. Maybe she did make a mistake, but those are pretty big words. It's not like a throwaway comment, I feel like. But yeah.
I don't think she realizes either that when she makes statements like that, it damages the LGBTIQ
Exactly,
plus
yeah.
community as well.
Because she is a big figure in the pop industry. And a lot of young people follow her as well, which is quite troubling. I don't know. At least she apologized on her Instagram story. I still have faith in her. I just hope She learned from that.
But maybe we expect too much of her. After all, she's a human.
True. We've all said silly things.
In other silly news, airlines are now censoring any female masturbation or queer scenes. Two examples are Booksmart and Rocketman. JJ, can you tell me what is happening?
Okay, so the film Booksmart, which is a really good film, has a lot of different stories within one major story, and it explores a number of different relationship dynamics. And there are a few scenes where there are queer and lesbian relationships, and Delta Airlines have decided to edit them out of the movie when they displayed on the airlines.
Even like any talk of it as well. It isn't even mentioned, apparently. And the same thing with female masturbation, because there's a whole scene about that.
And the other example is Rocketman, right?
Yeah, I think Rocketman was for gay scenes, I'm assuming. But Elton John is gay. So how do you edit out the whole movie?
You don't show the movie. Error.
You show the opening title, and then you show the credits.
It like crashes, it's like error, error,
Yeah.
error.
Scene missing, Finn.
If you enjoy this movie, give it 5 stars.
Oh my gosh. Knowing Hollywood, they didn't include that much of his gay story in there. But they have put the scenes back in, I read.
Why did they remove them?
Well, Delta Airlines made a statement where they said, we got given these films, we didn't know that they were edited this way. And no one actually knew until writer or the director of Booksmart saw the film herself. And then she said, Olivia Wilde, she was like, why are these scenes missing? And she publicly tweeted about it. And that's when the outrage started. I don't know how long the films were on there before it was noticed, but that is what happened. I know China Airlines, they'll always edit out like same-sex scenes or even like sex scenes, I'm pretty sure. Or any political type of things they'll get rid of. But I guess for an American airline, it's a bit different. It's meant to be progressive.
Pretty shitty. I mean, I don't know why you would want to watch a film, one of their films anyway. Like,
Yeah, one of their films.
like watching it on those teeny tiny fucking
Right,
screens.
yeah.
Like, and you can't.
When you're on a flight for 20 hours, you take what you can get.
Like, I don't know, man. They're pretty shitty films anyway. Yeah, it sucks that they're doing it. I wonder why, though. Any other thoughts, JJ?
Disappointed, but not surprised.
And Quinlan, you're going to give us some music news for this week.
The gays pop duchess, I don't know what to call her, Dua Lipa came out with a new song, Don't Start Now, and it is a disco bop. I love it so much. She has proven us again with her boy-hating songs.
It's got a good disco vibe to it.
Yeah, she really brought back old school disco, but like kind of intertwined it with modern day electronic music, which is what I really liked. And she proved that she can dance at the EMA performance.
Yeah, she did good at the EMAs. She definitely had more of a stage presence this time compared to previous
She
performances.
wasn't a prop.
Yeah, Quinlan and I have also seen her live.
She
and
was great live.
It was good live. Give her points. Like, she's come back with some new music. Was I the biggest fan of it when I first heard it? No. Did I have
Agreed,
to
yeah.
listen to it like 20 times to then be like, okay, it's a bit of a bop? I did. I wouldn't give her credit for the 80s music though, personally, because I feel like a lot of musicians at the moment are doing or getting inspiration from old school music.
Like who?
Bruno Mars's entire career. I really love like disco infused music. And it's like certainly the music that I listen to, which is not radio shit. That there's an alternative pop scene that's deeply infused at the moment with disco sounds, right? And that has now made its way into the mainstream. It started off with like Portugal
Portugal the Man.
the Man's fucking song.
Wait, I know what you're talking about. And a little pizza.
Oh, that
mean,
song.
yeah, that one.
That's from ages ago.
And so yeah, like there is like a disco, a more of an appreciation for disco in a lot of the alternative pop scene, and that's because disco has historically been like savage. People have hated disco.
Yeah.
There have been riots around disco, and now only recently have we been like, oh, the reason why we hated disco is because we hated gays and we hated black people, and now we hate them slightly less. At least some people do. So now we can reappreciate disco music and try to integrate it back into mainstream music because it's really fucking good.
Dua Lipa's new album is yet to be announced, but it is coming out next year.
This week we found out that Facebook and Instagram are going to reject prep ads because they're political for some reason, which sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, so for the last couple of months, weeks, there's been this huge debate around whether or not Facebook will accept political advertising. Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Facebook, came out and said, look, we're going to take political advertising because it's important that people can get their message out. And yet, we've now learned that they're going to be censoring certain groups, they're not going to be able to buy advertising on Facebook because they're political. One of these groups is advertising about PrEP, and some people are obviously calling it out because it's hypocritical to, on one hand, take political advertising money from, say, like fossil fuel companies, and at the same time say we're not going to take advertising money, we're not going to allow ads from PrEP
Sounds homophobic.
companies. Yeah.
But that's not even political. PrEP is a medication
Yeah, but
to help people.
So for the listener who doesn't know what PrEP is, it is a
drug. It's the one that you take before, like continuously. I think you have to take it every day, once a day, so you do not contract HIV while having unprotected sex. Obviously, like mainly the gay community, gay males will take it because they're the ones who are most prone to HIV. Susceptible. So it's really for safety. I don't really think it's a political tool, unless they're like saying gay men and PrEP or something like that, which I don't think they would. I don't know, I think it's an important thing that everyone should be informed about. It just sounds homophobic to me because it's connected to our community.
Speaking of social media platforms, I'm sure you both have been a bit aware, as millennials, you probably would have been flooded by it in all honesty, the Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star makeup range, palettes, accessories,
And whatnot.
YouTube series everywhere. It's been ongoing for a few weeks now. How do we feel? What are our thoughts? What are our feelings? What are our opinions?
can you describe it to me? Because I don't know who either of these people are. So JJ, please enlighten me, for someone who couldn't give a shit. Why are these videos popping up in my recommended?
Unlike yourself, who doesn't give a shit, there are a lot of people who do give a shit about these two individuals. Jeffree Star has had a long history in the media celebrity D grade, made his way up to A grade YouTube celebrity world from being he's kind of been a bit of everything. He's been very controversial. He's said a lot of very stuff over the years about women, like racist, like everything. Like he doesn't shy away from controversy, which is concerning.
It's like every beauty blogger, it seems.
But worse.
Okay.
But worse, yeah, another level.
Yeah, he's been a singer, he's been a model, he's written books, and he's made majority of his money through his makeup empire. He started off as a YouTube beauty guru and then he created his own makeup range, which is quite successful. And he does a series where he reviews other people's makeup. Shane Dawson is also a YouTuber who's been on the platform for a significant amount of years and has slowly made a really big fan base.
He's kind of that racist as well.
Don't they all?
Has also had a bit of a problematic past.
He blackface, made fun of women.
We all make mistakes, we're human. It's a part of life's journey, I guess. But he really blew up. He's always had a big following, but he really blew up over the past few years because he did, what are they called? The conspiracy theory videos. And then he did a few documentaries. He did a documentary on Trisha Paytas. He did one on TanaCon. He did one on Jake Paul.
What do you mean documentary?
He said that he takes his own style on documentaries by including emotion and opinions, because usually documentaries aren't meant to have either of those things. And that's his take on it, because he's going into people's lives. Usually it's like controversial YouTubers, like everyone most people dislike Jake Paul and Tana Mogu, whatever her name is.
Mojo?
I don't really care. And not many people like Jeffree Star at the time either when he made the documentary, so he wants to like go into their lives and try to see it from their point of view rather than just put hate on them, basically.
Right, so now these two problematic people have decided that, you know what we really need to do? We need to not only just team up, but also have a makeup line together?
Well, yes. So after the success of Shane Dawson's documentary on the incredible life of Jeffree Star, they then decided that they would create a range of accessories, clothing and apparel and makeup, which has sold out on the day that it was released.
So does Shane Dawson wear makeup? Is it something he knows anything
No,
about?
he does now, but he
now,
didn't
yeah.
before.
Okay.
So he's learned, yeah.
And there are shades in the palette who were named after other YouTubers.
Like Trisha, Tana, no, but what was
TanaCon,
TanaCon,
yeah.
And he named them after phrases he says in
Yeah.
the documentaries and stuff.
And so are they any good?
I mean, I've seen some reviews and people have said Jeffree Star's makeup, like, mixtures are known to be really good, but I've seen, like, 5. I haven't obviously seen all of them.
I did see a YouTuber reviewing the palette, and she did raise a good point, saying that she was underwhelmed by the colours, and it's nothing she hasn't seen before. And that's a fair call. Like, I think we've gotten to a point where no new colours are being created,
Yeah.
so fair enough. And then all the comments were people just attacking her, saying, like, they
wow.
worked so hard for that, Shane put his heart and soul in, and she didn't say anything about them or the character. She just said that she was
Just an
disappointed by it.
opinion, yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they have a hardcore fan base. It's grown a lot since the whole Jeffree Star documentary that Shane Dawson did. The series is the making of the palette,
Okay, so they go behind the scenes.
which is cool.
Okay.
It's ongoing still. It hasn't finished.
They're gonna do what happens afterwards and all the publicity and everything. Personally, I didn't like the documentary that much. Yeah,
But good on him for releasing a makeup line that sold out and merchandise.
and like a
and apparel.
series that did really well.
Yeah, like, and it would have
Yeah.
been really difficult. So like all credit to him.
So is Shane Dawson and
Jeffree Star.
Jeffree Star? So they're both queer YouTubers, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, Shane Dawson came out gay a couple years ago. I think Jeffrey's always known.
How do they relate to the wider like queer YouTube community? Quinlan and I were talking last night about the fact that there are a bunch of queer YouTubers who were famous in the early 2000s who have now kind of faded away, right? Tyler Oakley is still like super beloved, but you know his videos average like 50 to 100,000. Connor Franta gets like 100,000. Like they've all kind of like faded from their peak. A lot of the people have left, and so this is kind of like the next generation of like queer YouTubers, and it's very different, obviously.
I don't know. I think it's just beauty. Like the whole thing is meant to be about makeup, and makeup is like what's massive now on YouTube. You know,
To quote Jeffree Star, they're like diamonds.
I think if it wasn't for the makeup aspect and it was just them about them being queer, it wouldn't have been very successful. You know, I don't really like YouTubers in general. I'll just put that out there. Like I find them quite boring and quite ridiculous a lot of the time. I would rather watch something that's well made, like a drama on Netflix or a drama on any other streaming platform. But I am thankful that there are popular queer YouTubers out there who do represent our community.
Soon to be Quinlan Lee joining them on
True.
the.
Because I want to do something like interesting. Not, I filled up a pool with 1,000 water balloons and jumped in it. Like that's what you see on the trending page now. And I'm gay. Great.
Yeah, YouTube is in such a weird place at the moment.
I do agree.
Like there was such an innocence to YouTube, like
It's gone.
4-5 years ago. Like Tyler Oakley's like, look, whatever you want to think about like the YouTube voice and the YouTube edit, like there was still an innocence to them. There's still a purity to them. Whereas now it's like, oh, you literally need to be a neo-Nazi in order to have any popularity.
I just think they're really like boring. Now, I think before you're right. I don't know. Because before they seemed
YouTube's
more.
getting boring.
Yeah, maybe because it's been around for a long time, like, and we needed the next YouTube platform. Like, what do you guys use YouTube for when you go on it?
Out of boredom, and then it just becomes like a spiral. Like I don't know how I got to the video
Yeah,
that I've gotten
literally.
to.
Such an important medium because our generation and younger are watching more YouTube than they are television. Like that is the main medium in which they're watching anything. And so the way in which, or like the videos that are popular and what people are watching is way more important than whatever Netflix show gets released and then gets quickly forgotten a week from now. Right? Like the Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson stuff shows the power of taking these online communities and then monetizing them offline. And the way in which, you know, there have been so many YouTube stars who have over the years said, oh, I want to move from YouTube to have like a film career or a television career. And so few of them have actually done that successfully. Whereas Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star have done it a different way, which is say, oh, we don't want to necessarily move off YouTube. We're not trying to become filmmakers here. We're instead going to take what we've got and then just try to like make a lot of money, try to connect with them in other ways, do things more with them still on YouTube rather than try to become something
Yeah.
else.
The only person I can think of who was successfully made the jump from YouTube to like A-list fame is Troye Sivan, obviously becoming a singer, and I don't know how that actually happened. It's kind of a fluke, to be honest.
The power of 14-year-old girls has no bounds.
And then he turned on and came out gay.
And on that point, no makeup palette I don't think will ever have the same impact that the Shane Dawson
Yeah.
and Jeffree Star palette has had. Ever. Like, I don't think a launch will ever be this big, this well, much hype, ever.
Until the sequel.
But I think it did become so big because Jeffree Star's glam and Shane Dawson represents like a weird,
A relatable.
angsty, relatable type of person. So when they brought it together, that's something that's never been done before. Like makeup's always been represented as like a high culture, like everyone wears it, but it's represented as like a high culture glam thing. So both communities have kind of clashed now, and they profited off it.
It's Quinlan's Queer Conundrum.
Welcome to my conundrum, Quinlan's conundrum.
Quinlan's queer conundrum, to be exact.
And it's never queer.
It's always racism or something else. But my queer conundrum is, why has YouTube changed so much, and why have so many people been left behind, especially in the queer YouTube scene? Well, I feel like YouTube was predominantly queer at one point, and now it's kind of shifted to annoying straight white people doing dumb shit and being racist.
So explain. So what's happened, Quinn?
Okay, so we mentioned this in the news segment. Dino had mentioned it, but 4 or 5 years ago, and like before that, there were a bunch of very wholesome, mostly gay white men, who were popular on YouTube. So like Tyler Oakley, Connor Franta, Troye Sivan, Graceffa. That was a massive thing on YouTube, right? And it was a great medium for gay people to go. The other big thing that was on YouTube was coming out stories, which you don't see anymore. So I think we've shifted from wholesome content, which was very much queer, to more cringy, I'd say 17-year-old rich white kids doing stupid shit.
Give us some examples, Quinn.
Well, I said the examples of who used to be popular. They kind of used to talk about their stories. They used to eat a lot of weird things. I don't know. But now I would probably say Tana Moju, who just does clickbait videos, and I don't know what else she does, to be honest. Logan Paul, who does stupid prank videos and, I don't know, hurts himself and just says racist things. Then there's like Emma Chamberlain. Well, I think things used to be more informative as well.
I think there was a whole era of gay YouTube that was, or just YouTube in general, that was focused on vlogging, and that's kind of changed. Whereas like fewer and fewer people are watching basically celebrities, minor celebrities, internet celebrities, go through their daily lives or like have challenges and then have other YouTubers on, right? I think what people are watching is different. I think it actually is becoming more informative, or at least like less personal anecdotes and more, here is something that like is really interesting or cool or something that I've learned. I think that's changed.
I do love the informative videos, but I don't think those are YouTubers. I think that's kind of like, it's like, if you know Jubilee, they talk a lot about like different communities and how people talk about their opinions and their beliefs, and they'll debate it. And they let the viewer have their opinion. And then there's like videos that talk about the craft of movie making, and there's like science videos. But if we're talking about YouTubers, I don't think YouTubers do that per se. I think now they're separate. They're completely separate now.
And I think there's something to be said of the idea that there's something like gentrification in YouTube, where a lot of the early up and coming YouTubers were just in their bedroom and they were able to make YouTube videos that would get 6, 7, 8 million views each episode. And that favored queer voices who had never been heard before. This was a new platform without any gatekeepers. And it meant that a Connor Franta or a Tyler Oakley could make videos that other people could relate to because they had nowhere else to see. Whereas now you look at the most popular YouTubers, they tend to be big brands and people who've already got an established following. I think the most popular YouTube channel at this point is
PewDiePie.
No, it's a Indian music video company.
T-series.
And then, below that is like PewDiePie, right? Who's got like something like over 100 million subscribers, right? So it's already people who are established or are big brands already. So the smaller, quainter YouTubers have now moved away or gotten less traffic, and what's taken over is these big institutions already.
What do you think has led, in general, I think it's not even just the queer community on YouTube, I think it's YouTube as a whole, as a platform, what has led it to the loss of its innocence?
Well, yeah, I think you explained it. Basically, the big companies taking over.
I feel like the successful YouTuber, though, there's a very set out carbon copy that they all fit in.
Yeah.
They have an apartment. They're stylish, but they still thrift.
They're
Stylish thrift.
Yeah, they're not like your average person, but then if you compare them to every other YouTuber, they're all very similar.
Yeah. Well, one thing was did we already talk about the demonetization of queer girlfriendness on? That would be I don't know. I'm not to say. It's like that would be a big factor, obviously. I don't really know how they demonetize it.
Demonetization is when YouTube decides to pull revenue from a video, whether it's because something has been commented or said or implied that might be racist, sexist,
or
political, against someone's religion, against someone's beliefs, if it doesn't align with the YouTube community, if it forces your opinion onto a larger group.
And apparently being gay is an opinion. Lovely.
It's just a political stance, Quinlan.
But those straight people can talk about their relationships, not get flaked for it. Sounds great. I think that has a big impact on the queer YouTube fall, you know what I mean? And just people being honest on YouTube as well. Everyone else wants to be very cookie cutter, safe about things now because they want money. They don't care about good content,
Disappointed, but not surprised.
Well, actually...
My fun fact for this week. Are we ready, folks? Are you ready, JJ?
I was born ready.
Are you ready, Quinlan?
I was born.
You were born.
Wasn't prepared, but he's present.
I'm just making the best of this situation.
Life is a roller coaster. He did say that when he started today.
Boy problems.
Go off what Quinlan was saying at the end. There's a group of YouTubers who have decided to take legal action against YouTube itself. They are, I've never heard of any of these people, but they include Brett Summers, Lindsay Ammer, Chris Knight, Kelso Dule, Cameron Steele, Chrissy Chambers, and Chase Ross.
Wow.
All queer YouTubers, all of whom are suing YouTube for demonetization, unfair demonetization. They claim that their videos are automatically or unjustly, here's what their exact claim is, unlawful content regulation, distribution, and monetization practices that stigmatize, restrict, block, demonetize, and financially harm the greater LGBT community. So what their argument is that the algorithms itself, that's how they decide on what videos get demonetized and what doesn't. They unfairly target gay YouTubers, and this has been a problem for like years, right? Where if you put gay in your in the title of the video, it's more likely to be striked than if it didn't include the word gay. The reason for this is because advertisers don't necessarily want to be associated with all gay YouTubers. They tend to want to avoid those kind of subjects, which has meant that all these voices who, like we were saying before, have lost a lot of their cachet. This is just like it's adding insult to injury. It's adding salt to the wound, and so they're taking legal action against it.
Mm.
And this is part of like a wider conversation about the way YouTube treats its gay YouTubers. I don't know if you guys know who Carlos Maza is. No.
Nope, already no.
So he is a gay YouTuber. He works for Vox. He produces a series of videos, and there's this right-wing comedian who has basically just been bullying him and getting all of his followers to bully Carlos Maza. So in his videos, he'll wear a shirt that says "Socialism is for F asterisk GS," right? And so he'll make fun of Carlos Maza constantly, right? He gets his followers to go out and send him like death threats and rape threats.
Explicitly
right?
says that.
Yeah,
That's terrible.
So it's against YouTube's policies, but they keep him there, right? They haven't said that he's banned or anything for two reasons. One is because of advertising revenue, and two, because in America there's all these conservatives who are saying that YouTube is banning them. So if they ban one of them, then it looks bad on the rest of YouTube, so that it looks like it's censorship. And so like he posted this Twitter thread just looking at like, oh, here are all the instances YouTube did absolutely nothing. And so within all of this toxic mire, now YouTube is getting a lawsuit by queer YouTubers.
Fair enough. That's terrible.
YouTube has a responsibility to its creators, all of its creators, and if it's neglecting a community, quite a large community as well, the queer community, or queer identifying community, it's pretty concerning, I think. For them, as a platform, as a business, but also it deters people from wanting to use the platform and to create content for them as well.
Especially because so many of their creators are queer. And at the same time, they always go on about how much they love the queer community, and they'll have, for Pride Month, they'll have the YouTube logo will turn into a rainbow, right?
But then they won't do that.
And then they won't support it.
Yeah.
They'll demonetize their videos because they don't really give a shit.
Oh gosh, that's terrible. It's weird because YouTube did start out so wholesome, but with anything that grows very rapidly, the other side is going to make their way onto it.
And this is why capitalism shall fall apart. Now let me read a chapter from the Communist Manifesto.
Oh
No,
my
I'm
god.
joking.
The gays are against
Stalin.
capitalism.
Stalin who?
Stalin who?
Friends.
Hello.
Hi.
You might have realised that we've been discussing a lot about YouTube, and a lot of people use the platform of YouTube to watch videos. Our generation and younger, why is it that when we're bored, we automatically go on like to YouTube? Is there a reason? Like obviously it's muscle memory along the way somewhere we've learned that when we're bored we go to YouTube for entertainment.
Have you fallen down any good rabbit holes, Quinlan?
I think I do that every night in my life. I don't even remember half
You're
of them.
constantly living through Alice in Wonderland.
Well, I always go on the trending page because, I don't know, I just do. It's interesting to look at because there's always a mixture of things. And usually I'll just click on some random video like, man, the other one I did, the one I did the other night was, man drops some like really heavy ice from a big distance, I don't remember the distance, onto bulletproof glass. Like, see what happens. And
Fuck, okay.
it broke the bulletproof glass.
Yeah, because it's bulletproof,
But
not
that's only-
ice-proof.
But that's not even a hole, that's just me going on the trending page and finding something random because I was bored.
Mm.
That's just YouTube being weird.
Yeah, basically.
One of the greatest discoveries I found on YouTube is a series called 90 Day Fiancé. I don't know, have either of you watched it?
No.
So obviously it's centered around Americans because they need the K1 visa. So there's a bunch of Americans, and there's multiple series. So you have before 90 days, you have 90 days, and then after the 90 days. And we're up to like 8 seasons. So these Americans, a lot of them are older, are going online, overseas sites to find love. And yes, you do get a lot of the rich men who want the like sexy Brazilian 20-year-old model. You do get that, but you also get people from like Southern America who are like hillbillies, and they're finding their love with a Nigerian prince who is 30 years old.
What the
And
fuck?
so it's the best series. It's so good because obviously like everyone around them's like, this isn't going to work out. This is a scam. They're here for the K1 visa. They just want to get married to you so they can come into the country. Then once the visa's done, they've got a citizenship. They're going to leave you. And it has happened time and time again on this series. You both should watch it. It's very good. My favorite one is when there's a reunion and there's a woman who is married to a man in Dubai, and his name is Aladdin. And
Oh, no.
YouTube is turning into reality TV now.
well, it's on TLC, which is a channel we don't get here.
Oh, but they also put it on YouTube.
Well, people record their screens and put it on you.
So
They're doing
it's
God's
not-
work.
So JJ is watching a third-hand version of this.
It's so good. It's so good.
You sold me on it. I had no I didn't even know what this was before, but now I'm
No,
interested.
you're not gonna. I know you're not gonna watch it, but you should watch
No,
it.
I'm interested though. I want to see
It's so good.
what is happening.
There's Jenny with her lover in India who's married to another woman. Very good. There's like this woman who's like 70. She's married to a guy from Nigeria. She's lied to his mother, who she refers to as mama, that she can have children. But obviously, her biological clock has shut down. She has adult children in their 40s. It's very good.
Get on it. What's the series called, JJ?
90 Day Fiancé.
Oh, what a great YouTube rabbit hole you fell down. You've got bootleg versions of
I think
A
I've come
TLC
on this
show.
journey with you
It's so
firsthand.
good.
yeah. Do you guys know what restoration videos are?
No.
They take old pieces of machinery and then like repair them as if they were new, and they get millions of views, and they are the most intense things. They go for like 20 minutes, right? And it's just them like slowly disconfiguring this like piece of machinery and then cleaning it up, redoing it, fixing it up, building new parts, putting it all back together, and it's like, ah,
Didn't think we could get nerdier than you doing a project on a cell,
on
but,
an amoeba, but we did.
but we did.
They even do like art restoration videos. Like they'll get old paintings and then kind of repair them to make it look as if they had actually been when they were first.
Do you
painted.
watch these videos fully through, or do you skip through them?
I have these on like 2x speed, and I'm just like,
Okay.
vroom, vroom, vroom,
So
whizzing
like more
through.
like 10 minutes, not 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I couldn't even watch 20 minutes of that.
It is the most cathartic experience ever.
And here I am watching ice get thrown on a bulletproof glass.
Do you know what you would enjoy? A Bob Ross painting
I
tutorial.
love Bob Ross.
Yeah, I knew you would.
He's on Netflix at the moment. Mm-hmm.
He's
Get on
alive?
it. No.
No, he's
Oh, I was gonna
he's
say.
passed.
Yeah, that's what I
But
thought.
his old shows are now on. Man, I love Bob Ross so much.
He's probably the most wholesome person who has ever lived. I'm making that call.
I think it's a safe call though. I think he's wonderful. He was like a Vietnam War veteran,
Oh.
and so he had like a lot of
Trauma.
trauma and anxiety, and he found that painting really helped him relieve the stress.
Mm.
And so when he talks, he kind of got like this.
I've heard him
"Oh,
talk,
man."
yeah.
There's like been a revival of
Mm.
his TV series with our generation for whatever reason.
Because it was a meme.
Well, there's a lot of memes and there's quotes as well, and his quotes are so wholesome. There was one that I saw the other day that said that a man came up to Bob Ross was saying like a man came up to him and said, "I love your videos, but I am colorblind, like I can't paint." And then the next episode, Bob Ross did a black and white
Oh.
color, like painting. So he was like, and so this is like anyone can paint, like everyone can paint. It's just like you got to figure out how you can do it. So
That's
wholesome.
so
He's
cute.
pure.
My mum just found out about Bob Ross, and now she's going through just like tons of canvases all around the house of her painting the little trees. You know, just the little trees.
Is he a good painter?
He's very good.
Like, as in, I don't even like. He makes it really simple. Like, you can follow along and like paint along with them.
Oh, that's okay. Okay.
And the beauty of a video is you can pause and go back. I love that your mum's doing Bob Ross paint.
She loves him. She loves him. She just, for some reason, she's known about YouTube for years, but only recently has she discovered art YouTube, and now she's just like, oh my god, I can draw. So she's just like finding.
She is quite creative though. Like I
Did-
came
did
over
she
one
use
time
an
and she
art
was
teacher?
drawing.
You know what's big on YouTube now as well? Dance videos. I
Like
love
Dance
looking at
Mom?
dance. No, JJ, get that trash out of this podcast.
I was watching a fourth-hand version of Dance Mom
No.
on YouTube.
No.
I'm joking.
No, like people like choreographing dances, and then I think it's dance schools. They have like YouTube channels now, and they'll do dances to the latest songs because they'll get heaps of views for it. And I
Mm.
love watching them. It's so cool. And these people become like little celebrities.
Minor celebrities, yeah.
Yeah.
Just to quickly summarize the topic of YouTube for today's episode, do you think that YouTube will be a platform that lives on? You know, MSN died off, MySpace had its
Vine
time.
died.
Facebook is
dying.
slowly experiencing
Death.
a very slow, prolonged, drawn out, you know, disease. Do you think YouTube will survive? Like, it will be a platform that never, similar to Google. Like, Google doesn't really have competition. It has Bing. No one's using Bing. No one's using Yahoo. Like,
Yeah.
if anything, they're using that to get to Google.
Well, there has been competition for YouTube, and it's never surpassed YouTube before. So.
Yeah, I only watch Daily Motion videos from now on. It's a fertile ground to find new and aspiring voices
and get viruses.
and get viruses. I can't forget those. Those are my buddies. Nah, I feel like it's gonna be here forever. I feel like it's just there's too much stuff
Yeah.
on YouTube.
And it's connected to too many other social media apps as well.
Yeah, YouTube probably gonna be here forever.
Yeah.
And on that note, I would just like to wrap it up with the quick reminder that there was, last year, YouTube went down for 2 hours and the world came pretty much to the brink of ending.
And Pornhub traffic spiked.
Isn't Pornhub trying to become YouTube now?
Yes. The hardest part about competing with YouTube is the technical stuff of it. Like,
Mm.
you need so many servers, you need so much money for it. Pornhub has shit tons of money. They've already got all the hosting stuff. It's basically the same thing as YouTube,
But porn.
but porn. So they're now saying, oh, if you're interested in YouTube, if you're a YouTuber, why don't you come on to Pornhub? And so you can watch like full-length films on it now because they don't have the same like content ID strikes against you, right? It's like you can just put fucking anything. You can watch everything on Pornhub.
Yeah, but that scares me because, like, an innocent 4-year-old could be looking up, you know, Legos, like how to build a spaceship on Lego, and then, oh, there's a Lego porn film. Like, there's no.
Wait. So if Pornhub wants to become like YouTube, do they want normal content or do they want adult content?
I have no idea.
Because that's not gonna work.
No, like JJ was saying, they're gonna have Pornhub Kids. Okay.
What the?
I'm joking, of course.
They could do educational videos.
Yeah, here's how to put the condom on. But they do. They do. So maybe YouTube will die, and that out of the ashes rises Pornhub.
The one thing that has survived the test of time is porn.
Yeah, porn will never die.
Porn will never die.
Long live Pornhub.
That brings us to the end of our podcast. You have been listening to Quinlan.
Dino.
JJ.
Follow us at all our social platforms. There is Instagram, which is
2 half gays.
we have Facebook, which is 2.5 Gays. We also have a YouTube, which I'm pretty sure is
2.5 gays.
So follow us there for more glorious content and funny memes.
Also, if you would like to listen to a playlist of real queer artists, please check out our playlist on iTunes or Apple Music or Spotify.
Please listen to us next week. We release our episodes every Thursday on all the platforms, so that's where you can be notified. Thank you, next.